Okay. Awesome. So we are not live. We are recording because we are having technical difficulties. Welcome, Louise Urbina. Nice to have you here today, especially the significance of you being here, which I didn't even realize until this moment. It's our Happy Earth Day, right? It's
Yeah,
Earth Day, and you're an environmental engineer. So how cool is that? That we got to do this here today on Earth Day. So thanks so much for joining us. You are not only an environmental engineer, but you are also a personal trainer. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what you do and, the beauty of, the transformation that you've had with the coaching and how you're taking that and helping others transform. So you want to tell us a little bit about what you're passionate about and what you're doing in your training business?
yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So, well, first of all, I'm very passionate about environment and personal health. That's why I'm doing both of them. And it just happens that I am an environmental engineer and now a personal trainer. So, in the health side, I went through a transformation journey on myself. About that started maybe like 2 or 3 years ago with a lot of life journey that took with a very good intent, didn't take necessarily the best approach or best solutions. And with Cheryl, I started to do important changes and I started to go through a self-discovery journey that led me to make so many important changes in my life that has led me to start my own personal training business to be able to pair back all this change that I have done in a physical and mental level to other people and help other people have a better life, a better version of themselves, to feel happy with energy, to be healthy, and just to be happy.
Awesome. Yeah. And it has been such an amazing journey for you and not, just in, so many different areas of your life. And I think that's how it happens for most of us. Like for me, I went on a journey to find fulfillment in my life. And that's what led me to becoming a coach and led me to help others find fulfillment in their life. So I feel like that's like how it works for all of us, right? We start on our own personal journeys, and then once we master what we need to master, we can then, support others. So I'm going to actually post your website link in the comments of this interview, and people can see like what the journey has been like from like a visual or a physical perspective, and what is possible when they work with you, because you've done some amazing work, and you're just continuing to do that now as you have joined the Thinking and Results program, and you've been in the program for about 12 weeks now. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about the Thinking and Results program and what it's done for you so far.
Well, it's a great program. I cannot emphasize how good it is. It really gives you a different perspective on how your mind works and the tools on how to change your mind, how to change the script on your life, how to be able to change your habits in a permanent way, be able to change what's imprinted in your subconscious. There is so much to unpack there. But overall, it's a great program, and each single lesson is powerful and with new information on how to improve your mind and your life.
Yeah, I love it. And I think you said something earlier when we were trying to figure out this technology piece around how you discover how you really understand now how our thinking can become a habit, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So the way you think, it's a habit. The way you treat yourself, it's a habit. And those habits, they are imprinted in your subconscious. So if you have the habit of being hard on yourself, that many of us, we do that because that's the way we were taught while growing up. That's a habit. and without knowing, we treat ourselves bad, or we trying to find a situation that will make us treat bad ourselves. And that's a habit. And you have the power to change that habit. It's not easy, it's not fast, but you have the power. And each step that you take towards that, it's each step that for a happier and more fulfilling life. And this program teaches you exactly how to do that.
Yeah. So how have you done it? I'm curious to hear, like, what habits have you changed with your thinking? Like, yeah, what habits have you changed since you've been in the program?
So there are a lot of subtle changes that they seem small, but they have such a big change of vibration on yourself. Um, well, there are several of them. A lot of personal image habits, such as not forgiving myself, or telling myself that I am not good enough, or that I'm doing it wrong, to try to push myself more. So while I was growing up, I was always praised about good grades and good results, and I always depended on external approval to feel good, because I got both, right? I got punished and I got approved externally for certain performance things. So I got that habit about punishing myself to try to push myself to have better performance and then obtain a reward, external reward. So that's a very bad habit. So I have been changing that to not treat myself bad, treat myself kindly and with love and self-care. And that actually helps you a lot to take other decisions, to move on, not to circle around your head for hours or days, or drain yourself out of energy because of something that you did wrong, or trying to look for that external approval. But you're able to harness more energy and be able to move on quickly to something more productive or something else that you want to do. So that's the impact about treating yourself better, that you don't get stuck. You are able to move on quicker and with more energy. And at the same time, you're not searching for external approval, but more for feeling good yourself, internal approval.
Yeah.
And that again allows you to just move faster, just feel better, because not just to be happy, you just need to see inside you and acknowledge that everything is okay. And all that, it's a habit. If you
Wow.
have the habit about seeking external approval to feel good, it's not that really you need external approval. That's just a habit that you developed. And you need to change that and to be happy with just your internal approval. And that's it. That's all you need. But that's habit.
Well, and that's, it's the internal that's the most important, right? It's, we all look for those external reinforcements, but at the end of the day, what matters most is how we feel about ourselves and how we think about ourselves,
Yeah.
and what we want. And I think, I mean, that's the problem. Everybody's been programmed in different ways, right? And we typically tend to be our own worst enemies, not because that's what we think about ourselves, but that's just what was, that's what we learned at a younger age. So that fear of failure turns into perfection, which turns into beating yourself up, which turns into a cycle of, self-punitive, and overreacting and burnout and everything, right? And so when you can learn how to shift that, things just actually become easier, don't they?
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Your bad days are better days than before. It's a change of vibration. Your good days become better days. Your bad days becomes better days. All from a sudden, things that will upset you doesn't upset you that much anymore. And and it's just your whole vibration starts to shift up. The good days becomes awesome days. The bad days becomes okay days. And it's just a ladder, right? As you continue working on those internal factors, your vibration, and that's what I understand by vibration, it's your state of mind. It just improves in a sustainable way, and you're just a different person.
And when you change the inside, you change the outside. Like it's both, right? It's one, like, self-image really starts on the inside.
Yeah.
And then when you master that, then the outside will just follow. So what limiting beliefs have you let go of? What's different?
Ooh, so many things. One of them is it has to be hard for me to deserve it. I had to let that go, and that's something I was raised with. The limiting belief that save for me, save money or resources for when it's going to be hard. So always thinking about cutting costs and not actually creating things. Had to let that go. The fact that, and that's very personal on my self-esteem, that I do not deserve to be loved. That's something very personal that I realized. I didn't know that it was even there. It
Mm-hmm.
was only through this self-discovering process that I started to understand those small imprints, right? Which are very, very quick. They're just fraction of seconds or even less that they trigger, right? That's why it's subconscious. So it takes time to start to realize that, but that was definitely there, not deserving to be loved. And that explains why I'm still single, maybe. But
Well, it does because it impacts your relationships,
yeah,
right? And I think a lot of people have that. Like, why can't I meet somebody? What's wrong with me? Why am I still single? And they just, on a conscious level, they don't get it because it's all happening on a subconscious level. The
subconscious.
behaviors are being driven on a subconscious level. So I mean, that's a beautiful thing to be able to realize that, number one, to raise that to consciousness, and then to be able to see that you have the power to change that.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
they need the courage to go through the process,
so
but it's worth it.
now you're ready. Like now your vibration is higher. So
Yeah,
maybe,
for sure it is.
the woman is coming.
Maybe, but
Maybe
the
she's
difference,
watching this interview right now.
the, the big difference that before, again, part of my imprint, I was partially looking a relationship to feel better about myself, to get that additional energy, which now I don't because now I have my own energy. So
Ah,
it's other reason, it's a different script why I will be looking for a partner, right? To maybe to make projects together, to my own life plan, right? But it's not an energy surrogate that could have been partially the reason before. Like you go with someone and you feel amazing, right? Then the person is gone and you feel like crap. That's not good. That's not a good way to see a relationship. That's a
right.
dependent relationship, right? And it should be collaborative. You should be able to support each other, not depend on each other. So that's a big difference.
That's beautiful. I love that so much because I'm always saying to people, before you can love anybody else, you've got to love yourself. And, we don't want to rely on people to make us feel good. Nobody can make us feel good except for ourselves, right? And that starts at our level of thinking. And, our thoughts create feelings and so on, right? So I love the fact that you got that because that is the secret, I think, to really attracting the right person in your life. And I mean, I didn't even know that this is where this conversation was going to go, but it makes total sense for me now that, that you can get to that place where you're not relying on anybody else, like that inner peace, that you can be happy with or without someone in your life. And that knowing that you can attract someone to enhance your life versus, using it as a way to be rescued or sort of, fill the void, right? Fill
Yeah,
the gap. So that is so beautiful. I feel like it's coming now. I feel like
yeah.
this
And,
today, right now, the manifestation begins. So
and what amazed me that all that are habits, weight of the habit of how you think. And you don't, most people probably they don't know that habit, right? It's so fast and so automatic
mhm.
uh, that you really need to get trained to detect that. And again, the program helps you to do that.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about like how does the program help you to do that?
Well, you go through each lesson and you follow the lesson, number one. Number two, well, we go to specific lessons. There is a lesson that, well, there is an imprint work that we did, which I think it helped a lot to get and detect those small mental moments, that was really a good, I would say, a good preview to the program. Very good. Then the program itself, it teaches you about your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And it explains you that 90% of the things that you do in reality comes from your subconscious mind. And maybe that you're not really aware of what's going on unless you are very, very careful to listen to it. 90% of what you think, 10% of what you do, it's what you actually think. And very little amount of things that you think actually becomes into a reality, because your habits are determined by your subconscious mind. 90% of the things that you do are because of a habit, and that comes from your subconscious, you want it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so to make those changes, you need to start to pay attention to what your subconscious says. And, like in those things, especially when you don't feel good, that's a good key to stop and think why I'm not feeling good. I don't try to look for external reasons. That's just a circumstance. That's just what's happening in the moment. But the real reason why you get triggered is how you see that event. And then you have to start to reflect, why do I see that event that way? Where does it come from?
Right.
Is that a habit? Is that, do I normally see that event that way? How could I change the way I see that event to make me feel better? Because you're not going to change that event. You cannot really change much of what happens around you. What you can change is how you perceive those things. And that's very important for you to understand. If you want to be happier in a sustainable way, you have to change the way how you see things. If you're gonna,
sorry, yeah, no, go ahead.
If you're gonna rely for external things to happen to make you happy, maybe you're gonna hit it like 10% of the time, 5%, 20% if you're very, very lucky, and you can throw a lot of money away, and even that. But if you, and that's not even sustainable. If you really want to be happier in a sustainable way, you have to change your script and how you see things that now makes you be unhappy or be in a negative vibration.
Yeah. And what I've observed with you in this program is really how you have been successfully, through the tools and resources that the program provides for you, how you've been really successful in being able to see things with a different lens, with a different perspective, using your mental faculties to really look at things. Because like you said, we could have three people looking at the same situation and they could all have a different perspective on it, right? But if you're so fixated on your perspective and you're not willing to look at it any other way or see the situation any other way, nothing changes, right? And I really see that, through the exercises and the materials and the tools and the resources in the Thinking into Results program, you have really been able to embrace that, that piece that is so important, to be able to look at things through different lenses and sort of step outside of yourself and see what you may not be seeing. And through being able to do that, you've been able to, make the shifts, that are getting the results that you have wanted. So what are some of the results? Tell us a little bit about like the tangible results. You started a personal training business. Yeah. So tell us about some of the results that you've, been able to achieve through this work.
Well, I mean, there is a lot, right? As you say, it has been a transformational journey, and I continue to do so. For starters, when I started working with you, I had very deep emotional conflicts, and I was very depressed, and I was very out of shape, and I didn't know what to do. So we moved myself to Toronto. I started to learn how to do leaps of faith. I started to work on my body and be a follower of my two trainers that I had at that time, and do what they told me to do. So that's one. And that brought specific results. I was happier in Toronto. I got back in shape. And that was, let's say, the first phase. And then we start into the program. So into the program, it goes into a deeper understanding of how to change your state of mind, right? Before that, we had done changes that were very important, but I was not necessarily conscious how that fit on my head, right? I know I had changes, but I was not sure how that change will happen, how to continue, if that was all what I could get, or I could go further, if I should settle down. But this program really teaches you that you can go further. Since then, I wake up every day happier, literally happier. I suffer from sleep apnea. So that's when you stop breathing during the night. And that really doesn't necessarily make you wake up in a good mood. So at the beginning of the program, when I have my sleep apnea episodes, I would just wake up very crappy mood, very drained. But now, even if without sleep apnea episodes, my day, they are still good. I still wake up happy, looking for my day. You know, it's not as a good sleeping day, but now a good sleeping day, it's an amazing day. And that's because part of your energy vibration, and that's part of my personal trainer speech, it's a physical component, but it's also a mental component. You could have the most fit person to each grade, but if you don't have the right program here, they're still gonna be crappy and happy with no energy, not wanting to do anything. So you need both components, the physical, but also the mental one to give you energy, vibration to get up of your day and do all the things that you want to do. So you
Love
need
it.
both, and the
Mind,
part really
body.
working it in the mental part, and it really raises your energy level.
So much happier, much more balanced, inner peace, self-love,
Yes.
physical transformation, emotional transformation, mental transformation,
Was it self-love?
professional transformation.
Self-love, it was very important.
Yeah.
By that, I learned to forgive myself, but to really forgive myself, not just from the mouth out, but
Mm-hmm.
to really like go through that internal process. And curious thing, through the program, a lot of old memories have been coming back. I've been living again a lot of moments in my life which have been very hard on myself, like incredibly hard, criticizing myself or ashamed or nervous or feeling like a failure. I those memories, they do come back, and they come back strong as you go trying to change the way you think. Those thoughts that doesn't synchronize, they start to come back and fight. But the difference is that each time that happens, somehow my brain, it's kind of like a you stop on time and you tell yourself of that time, it's okay, it's fine, it's okay to you're just you're not a failure, you're just failing, which is fine. Failing, it's fine, but you continue to go on, and that's fine. And really forgiving yourself, going through that process, to going through each single one of those memories and forgiving yourself in each single one of them. And
Mm.
that's for my personal self, it's a cleanup process, which has been, that's when hell breaks out, I guess, for myself, reliving all those moments. And after that, you feel so much better, and you really start to build your self-esteem, to
That's
heal yourself.
beautiful.
And that's where those subtle changes started to happen. You look yourself and you're happy when you see yourself in the mirror. Uh, yeah, you're just happier when you see yourself in the mirror.
It's so beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that. And I know you've really committed to this program and this work, and so you're the proof, right, that when you do the work works.
It
So
does.
and you're just getting started, like the momentum is building now. And imagine, like, you've been able to do all these amazing things in your life, but now you've got a new perspective, um, inner peace, a new sense of love and appreciation for yourself, and you understand that anything is possible, right? There are no limits. You can do whatever you want. And I'm curious to know, like, how, because you're in this group of people that all feel and are learning the same thing, right? That there are no limits, that they can have quantum leaps, they can do whatever they want. What's it like to be with a group of people like that?
It's good. You feel very supported. Having people that go through your same journey, it gives you a lot of emotional support. You're not, you're not someone sailing alone. It's a group of people in the same boat. So that's comforting. You hear their stories and their struggles, and you can sympathize with them and learn from their experience and learn from their struggles, right? They will bring in new ideas. You will not start to notice that some of them, they are in a higher vibration level or more advanced than you are. Some of them, they are just experiencing what you experienced 3 months ago or 1 year ago. So you can see how people has progressed more or are behind, and you can see how all the dot connects, right? You can see how it was before and how you can move forward. And that gives a lot of encouragement. It's a flow.
Mhm.
It's a change that will continue to flow. And you just need to keep doing the work and trust that it's going to work and it will change. And the other great thing is that your accountability partner. That's amazing. I love my accountability partner. It gives you so much personalized support and you get to know someone very well.
Yeah. And there's just so many beautiful relationships developing in the group as well, like friendships and business relationships and, brainstorming and ideas. I love that about the group. I love that, everybody's at different places. So some are inspiring others are, lifting each other up, people that are just getting started. So it's a real for me, it's just such an honor to be, on this journey with all of you. And I really appreciate you sharing your experience. And, again, like I didn't realize until we got on this call, like how powerful this work has been for you in terms of that, that piece to self-love, because I feel like we did all this cool work, moving, like you said, moving to Toronto, finding work-life balance, doing all these things. And this was kind of like that last piece, right? Like this was kind of like the last piece. And so to hear today how thinking in results has helped you with that, like kind of like last big piece, is really, really special to hear. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much to
Um,
you for that.
and what do what would you tell? What do you want to say to people who are thinking about doing this? Like there are people out there that are watching these and
Oh,
thinking about
start
it.
tomorrow if you're going to start today. Start really right away. There is no reason why you should wait.
Yeah.
It's really my personal recommendation. Start today if you can, if not tomorrow, but don't wait. There is no better time to start than now. It's
Now's the time.
really, really worth it.
Yeah, now's the time, right? We only have one life.
We only have
Let's get
one
to
life,
it.
and it doesn't take much. It takes commitment. The effort that you're going to spend doing the program is not going to change now from 3 months from now, and it's really worth it. It's your health, it's your life, it's your mental health, it's your well-being, and it's worth spending the time and money to work on that.
Yeah.
It's, yeah,
There's no greater investment, really, is there?
yeah.
Yeah, no greater investment. So thank you again for sharing your story. And I am going to post your link to your website. So if people want to check out and go, really see what you've managed to do in the past couple of years and how you can help others too,
Yeah.
with their transformational journeys, reach out to Louis, reach out to him. He's helping people. He's doing it. And if you're single, he's available. All right. Have a great
Life
weekend.
will open it on itself. So anyone that wants some help or my input on anything, just let me know. I'm very glad to help anyone I can.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Louise. Happy Earth Day.
You
Have a
too. Happy
great
Earth
weekend.
Day. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.